Hello everyone, this is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. Today I would like to talk a little bit about how to magically get rid of an evil presence. Let's say that something is messing with you, or you believe that a negative entity is messing with you. How do you get rid of it? People that are involved in occultism, in different magical practices, sometimes report strange noises, groans, growls, possessions, negative creepy feelings. So, supposedly, according to the magicians, that is experienced quite a bit. Now, I do practice magic. I practice everything I learn about. However, I'm not here going to tell you this is real or not. It's up to you to decide whether magic is real or not. I do practice magic. I have for many years engaged in such practices, so I do speak from experience. I am not a non-practitioner. But it's up to you to decide whether it's real or not. Now let's say that you feel a negative presence, and you really feel that something bad, negative, is messing with you. How do you get rid of it? This is a very simple method, and it goes across many different systems of magic. You will create an image to represent the negative entity, create an image to represent the negative presence. Sympathetic magic. Sympathetic magic is one of the earliest forms of magic. Supposedly, according to what it says in the books, this happened in caveman days. In caveman days, they would make clay statues of deer, clay images of deer, and then they would hunt and destroy and smash the clay images. And supposedly, by making clay images of deer a representation and destroying it, that it would equal an actual successful hunt. Now, that's what the books say. I'm not an archaeologist. I can't vouch for that information. But supposedly, sympathetic magic goes way back. Talismans represent a desire. Poppets, a lot of people are familiar with voodoo dolls. A voodoo doll, something that represents someone. Poppets in Wicca. So what you will do, sigils and ceremonial magic, so this is found in many different systems of magic around the world. Around the world, y'all. So you will create an image of the negative entity. This image is the negative entity. It represents it. And once you have this image that represents that negative entity, then you can destroy it. You can bind the image, you can banish it, you can command it, you can do whatever you want. So what you're going to do is you're going to take something like this candle holder will represent the entity. I have this, I will carve it, I will paint it, whatever. This represents the negative force. Once this represents it, I can destroy it, I can bind it, I can throw it in a fire, just like a voodoo doll. You take a voodoo doll, you stick pins in it. But that's what Hollywood says. Sometimes voodoo dolls are used to heal, to bring healing. So it's not always a bad thing, but like stabbing a voodoo doll, same concept. Create something to represent it. Now here, I would advise that it be something sturdy. Something sturdy, like wood or cloth. Don't make it out of paper. Don't just draw an image on paper, because it's too easy to destroy. You need something sturdy, like wood or metal or a cloth, make a doll or something. So create a doll, carve a piece of wood and paint it. Something sturdy that represents the negative entity or force that's around you. Once you have this image, then you can destroy it, you can banish it, you can command it. Now, how do you make the image? I don't know. Do you feel that the negative presence is like a black energy cloud? Well, then make a black energy cloud. Get a rock or get a piece of wood and carve it how you think it looks and paint it black. Do you know the name of the entity? Supposedly, according to the lore, that knowing the name of a thing gives you considerable power over it. You can create a sigil of the spirit. Create a symbol of the spirit. Something that in your mind, this is the spirit. And you have to believe it at a certain level. This is the spirit. Once this is done, then you can do whatever you want with it. Now, you can bind it. Now, there are two main definitions of binding. Binding can mean you bind someone to you that they won't leave you. Or binding can mean restricting the actions. I'm talking about restricting the actions. You could take black thread or black cord and bind the image so it can't hurt you. Now, if you bind it, it's still around. It's just kind of made where it can't have as much influence. There's a problem. If you banish it, it could come back. This is the truth, y'all. If you bind it, it's still around. If you banish it, the negative presence could always come back in a year or two. So what do you do? What I personally would do is I would make an image to represent the negative force. I would bind it in black cord. Then I would command it to leave. Command it to leave. And then I would hurt the image. I would hurt it, harm it. I would destroy the image. I would bind it, command it to leave, destroy it. So that the negative force is wounded, bound to where it can't hurt you, hurt a little bit but hurt, and cast away. So that is what I would do. Now, once the entity or force is gone, how do you keep it gone? This calls for a separate ritual. Now, so you can create a witch's bottle. This is a hoodoo, New Orleans voodoo type thing, Louisiana voodoo. But first of all, okay, you will create an image to represent the negative entity. Something sturdy, paint it, put symbols on it, whatever. Then bind it in black thread and hurt it and command it to go away. I would do this on Tuesday. Tuesday is the day of Mars. This is where magical timing comes in. Tuesday is the day of Mars. Do it on a Tuesday at the hour of Mars. Okay? When the moon is waning. Now, the easy way to know the hour of Mars, technically you divide sunrise to sunset and divide the daylight hours into 12 hours and the night hours into 12 hours, making 24 hours. Where the days grow longer, the daily hours are longer. It's a complex system. Basically, sunrise will always be the hour of the planet of the day. So Tuesday at sunrise, it's the day of Mars at the hour of Mars. Then you can do the ritual. Take incense of Mars. Just look up, you can look it up on Google, although there's a bunch of crap information on Google, on the internet. It needs to be a reputable source. Look in a magical encyclopedia, look in a reputable source, find herbs of Mars. A lot of these you can probably find in your kitchen spice cabinet. For one, basil leaves. There you go. Take basil leaves, something of Mars, burn it as incense on a Tuesday morning at sunrise, day and hour of Mars. Then just bind it, destroy it, and command it to leave, and then go burn it or smash it and bury it or something. Now, once that's done, only after you've gotten rid of it, when you have successfully banished the negative presence, now what do you do to keep it away? So only after you have successfully gotten rid of it, you can create a witch's bottle. take a jar. It needs to have a lid on it, or a bottle with a lid. An empty mayonnaise jar would do. The formula, don't laugh, calls for broken glass, nails, shards of broken glass, sharp objects. You will urinate in the bottle. That's right, pee in it. Couple drops of blood, couple of hairs from your head, fingernail clippings, something to connect to you so that you're protected. So hair, urine, drops of blood, fingernail clippings. In this jar full of nails and broken glass, then you will tighten it up with the intent. Intent is everything. The bottle has no power in itself, it's the intent. You will bury it in your front yard, and this is supposed to keep it at bay. According to the tradition, y'all. So, you have your witch's bottle. Now, if you want to make it even more successful, according to the lore, iron nails, because iron is the metal of Mars. Now, moving aside from this for a second, if you take a jar of water and stick iron nails in it until it rusts, and then shake the water, once a day, so it doesn't become stagnant. Keep it in the fridge, cool place, and the iron rusty water creates what you call, in Louisiana style hoodoo, you call it war water, but that's kind of a separate thing. So you've made an image, destroyed and banished, and then create a witch's bottle. Now, once again, I'm not going to tell you whether or not this works. I'm not going to decide for you whether magic is real. My purpose is to be as unbiased as possible. My purpose is to present the information without my opinion getting in the way, without my thoughts getting in the way. I try to be unbiased. Sometimes it's not always easy, but I try. So anyways, that is a look at a method which you can find in hoodoo, ceremonial magic. Basically, any magical tradition will tell you to create an image and bind and destroy it. So you're going to create something to represent that negative force and then destroy it. And then do something to keep it away. And so that is a basic look at getting rid of negative entities or whatever that one may believe to be nearby from a magical standpoint.